Okay, so third grade, today we're going to revisit the schwa in an open syllable. Most of the time, the schwa in an open syllable has to do with the letter A. If you have a letter A in the beginning of a word, or if you have an A at the end of the word, it's going to sound like a schwa. Like, for example, in the word Alaska. That's an open syllable. Alaska. Alaska. Two open syllables. But I don't say Alaska. I say Alaska. So open syllable, that's A is going to sound like an In the word alone. That A is considered an open syllable, but it is a schwa. I don't say alone, I say alone. What this word is? Open, schwa, closed, schwa. Abandon. Abandon. If you abandon someone or something, you leave it alone. That's a schwa. It's an A. We talked about that in terms of people's names, right? Sophie. So that A, amazed. I was so amazed, right? That's a open syllable as a schwa with a vowel consonant E and the ED suffix. Amazed. So if you see an A in the beginning of the word or the end, most likely it sounds like an Now you do have your exceptions, right? Like in the word acorn. That actually sounds like an A. But most times, if the A is at the beginning or the end, it'll sound like a schwa. Okay, so third grade, remember I told you when we were learning about the schwa that there are really no rules, right, for the schwa. Well, there are a couple, and I don't want to really call them rules, but I want to call them maybe guidelines or things that usually or generally, oh, that's my soft G with an E, generally happen with the schwa. For example, the A. We learned about the A. So schwa rules, I'm putting that in with a question mark. It's mostly generalization. Generalization? So if you have an A at the beginning or end of the word, about, Alaska, extra, tundra, that A is going to sound like a schwa. Well, there's also some generalizations for the letter I. If you have an I in the middle of the word, and it appears to be an open syllable, it will most likely sound like an I or an For example, in the word cabinet. Your cabinets at your house, in your kitchen. So if I were going to look at that word cabinet, 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 right? Closed, open, closed. Well, that would be the rule. But because the I is in the middle of a word as an open syllable, and it's followed by a consonant, it's going to make a short I sound instead of a long I sound like an open syllable. Cabinet. In the word animal, you would think closed syllable and, open syllable I, closed syllable mal. schwa, actually, animal, animal. But I don't say animal. It's an open syllable, but because it's followed by a consonant, we make it a short vowel sound. And ma. That's closed, but it's also a schwa. So when you have an I in the middle of a word, it's really important to learn how to flip from a long I to a short I. I versus and then switch to an If that doesn't work, make the I E. I am confident we will win the game. Confident. You would say to yourself, well, closed, open, closed. Confident. Confident. I, even though it should be a long I sound, because it's followed by that D, it's a short I sound. Confident. Now, what happens if that I is in the middle of the word and it's followed by a vowel? Then the I sounds like an E. Ray, open syllable. Die, O, open syllable. This is actually 3 open syllables. But I don't say Ray, die, O. And I don't say Ray, di, O. I say radio. In that case, the I sounds like an E. Pat, E-O. Pat. Open syllable, but that I sounds like an E. Open syllable O. Patio. Radio. How about this word? Champ. E on closed syllable, champ. That's an open syllable I, but it sounds like an E. And that's a schwa. Champion. So guess what? I can sound like an it, like a chick. I can sound like an long I sound, like an item. I can sound like a short I when it should sound like a long I, like in cabinet, animal, confident. And I can also sound like an and an I can also sound like an E, like in radio, patio, champion. Let that sink in.